Welcome to the Windy City Bender Podcast with your hosts, Nolly, Poetzy, Jarom, and Tanner.
All right, welcome to episode 91 of the Windy City Bender Podcast. Today we are joined by a special guest, but I will pass over to Tanner. So fuck this one up again.
Hey, I'm the special guest. What it do? No, we got my boy. He's back. You know him. He had his own corner last time. It's Kevin Meegan. What's going on, bud?
Woo! What's up, boys? Thanks for having me on.
Let's go. Fucking coming in hot. We shouldn't be too happy. The fucking Hawks.
You texted me. Or
The Hawks are fucking falling so hard right now.
Yeah, you remember we wrapped up last episode saying, we got some important games, a lot of points to make up. We're only 8 points out of the wild card spot.
Yeah.
How did we follow that up?
0-3-1.
Boom.
But guess what? Guess what, though? Hawks are still only 8 points out of a wild card spot somehow. I don't fucking get it.
I don't understand this fucking league.
We've got 1 point, and we still are only 8 points out. And it just sucks because, we have 4 less games now to make up those 8 points. Also, we have one less goalie and one less defenseman.
I was going to say, but good news. We made some big moves at the deadline, to really get us into that spot.
Bolster that future right there.
We're counting on Subban to be like a Binnington or a Devin Dubnyk when he came in, when he went to Minnesota and just tore it up for 25 games. They're 12 fucking points out.
Absolutely. Man.
Saving grace, guys.
Yeah, saving grace. So you're right into that then. So trade deadline was this past
week. The Hawks talk. Let's
just
go.
blew out everybody's fucking ears.
I'm excited.
Yes, trade deadline came in and went on Monday. There was a lot of talks about what the Hawks be doing. You hear names like Brandon Saad was on the block, Corey Crawford, Robin Lehners, Gustafson. 2 of the 4 got moved. Gus got traded over to Calgary for a conditional third-round pick, our favorite type of pick there.
I love conditionals, man.
And then Robin Lehners got traded to Toronto, who then moved him to Vegas. No,
I don't think that's how that works at all.
Lehners, it's technically on paper. That's how it went down on paper. But
No, it didn't.
that's what I saw. What I read.
That's
Lehners to Vegas for a second-round pick, Malcolm Subban, and the rights to defensive prospect. God damn it.
Slava?
There you go.
Demon.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who is a defensive partner with Ian Mitchell at the University of Denver.
By the way, the conditionals on the Gustafson pick it's just a third rounder. It's just the higher of the third round picks that Calgary has, which I believe is either theirs or Edmonton's.
I think it's Edmonton's.
I think it's whatever they have from that trade with James Neal and Milan Lucic.
Yeah. Can we talk about though too how it felt forever for them to announce the details of those 2 trades?
Oh yeah.
I felt like every other trade was getting reported and it was instantly, oh, this is going this way, this is going that way. I think I said yeah, I sat on my phone for 45 minutes looking for the stuff to post on social and all that. Couldn't find shit.
Yeah, it was just future considerations for a while, and it was just what the fuck does that mean?
So,
whatever.
So Gus, we all kind of knew that was coming, but holy fucking drop for him. Who this offseason people were saying we can be getting a first rounder for him.
Yeah, that would have been nice if you would have kept that 60-point season going into this year, but didn't really happen. I honestly I feel like if it was the beginning of the year, Gus, still, we would have probably only gotten a 5th round. Probably nobody would have wanted him. He did pick up his play December and January.
There was one thing I was saying that there was talking about Bowman was being too greedy with all his trades and what he wanted for all these guys. And one GM, I don't know if it was a GM or an agent, was quoted saying, well, you can't really get much for a guy who can't play defense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, if you ever saw him in his own zone, this goes for most of the Hawks players right now. They lose those little battles in the corner. They lose the races. You're never going to get the puck out of your zone if you're getting beat to it all the time. You know what I mean? And just not putting your stick in the right way. When your best defensive defenseman is Connor Murphy, you're probably in trouble.
Yeah, you need that guy I don't know, maybe a Nicholas Hjalmarsson that can just just go into those corners one-handed and poke that puck right out to the like forward along the half boards. I mean, somebody like that. I really wish we had someone like that. That'd be really nice.
It's a shame we never had somebody like that.
Yeah, it sucks. Fuck.
He never missed a practice either.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't broken until he went to Arizona. So.
Yep.
Also, the Hawks got TJ Brennan back.
Oh yeah, TJ Brennan. That was a minor trade.
I don't know why, but okay, I guess.
What is up with like? Is that just got a suitcase for us? Like we send people away and then we get them back like 3-4 years down the line when they've done worse.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, remember the times we had when you played in Rockford? All right, man, that's cool.
They're gonna sign Patrick Sharp to one more deal to get
God.
back for a little bit.
He's just gonna also do commentary in between the periods. He's gonna do interviews. He's gonna be dressed and also doing interviews like in between the periods.
Like that story that like SPHL goalie that was usually the broadcaster and they needed an emergency goalie.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they had a bench sitting there and he was doing color commentary for the game as he's sitting on the bench.
That's
like,
amazing.
So funny.
I love it.
So the Gus trade, kind of take it for what it is. It sucks. He was great on the power play. I felt definitely was.
I mean, the good thing about that, like, it's not like we don't have anybody to cover the power play. Like, that's Boquist's spot now to take, which is perfect.
If you watch that game, the last game against St. Louis, like that kid can move on the point. He drew that penalty late in the game. His footwork is just awesome. His like tape to tape on the point is just ridiculous. And Kirby Doc too. If we're gonna talk about power play, like throw him.
Oh yeah,
baby.
He's gonna run it.
Yeah.
What was it? The fifth goal of the game? Like.
All right, we'll get into the games.
Yeah. Okay.
We're still just talking about the trades real quick.
So the trade, so everybody kind of expected. I'm taking what it is for that trade for the Gus. The one that I kind of feel has a lot of people, kind of divided is the Lehner trade. So many different reports. Like he said, it's coming out. So first off, Lehners didn't hear about the trade until he saw it on Twitter.
I feel like that's half the players nowadays don't even hear about it until they see it on Twitter.
It's really funny because his comedic gold on Twitter continues. He was just like, "Oh, thanks for telling me, Twitter. I guess I'm going to eat a lot of Chef Gordon Ramsay's restaurant now."
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm going to Vegas. Cool. A lot of cool restaurants I hear. Also, it was just like oh, it's Lehners for a second and Malcolm Subban, and then it's like, oh no Subban, it's just in a prospect. Okay, no, now it's just a second. Oh no, Subban's back in it now.
Yeah.
No wait, no. All right, what I'm hearing is they have a second Subban and a prospect now. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, give it a second. Like, let it solidify. Like, who's the prospect? Oh, we have no idea. Okay, cool. Sounds great. I'll find out like in a few hours. Thank you. So frustrating. Kept saying in our group chat, I was like, who the fuck's the prospect that we're getting back? Like, if we were like, Cody Glass? That sounds great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Cody Glass and Garrett Sparks were the trade for a second.
Oh, and by the way, Garrett Sparks kept the number 40.
That
and Lehners just like, I don't give a shit. Keep it.
So
man.
that was the whole
Rolex.
So that was the whole. Yeah, that was the whole thing. So Lehners posted a picture of new pads in the Vegas color and goes, "Oh, so what do you think?" And Sparks replies, he's like, "Oh, they look good except for the top. Instead of black, do the gray. By the way, you should talk to somebody about number 40." And some random person replied, was like, "Oh, so what's he gonna take?" And he did a picture of a Rolex, and Lehners just responds, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah, he's wearing. What's he wearing? Like 90.
90.
Yeah, and then Carolina was like, "Oh, is it for like David Arias?" And he's just like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
That's the best. Like he's just like, "Yeah, why not? All right, cool."
And I'm not gonna buy you a fucking Rolex for my fucking number 40. Like, first of all, he's probably only gonna be there for like the last half of the season in the playoffs. Like, why would you spend that much money to buy somebody a Rolex for the number that you're gonna use for maybe 2 or 3 months?
Yeah.
Well,
like,
he has an opportunity here because Flower only has like a year left, right? And
he's got
Lehners
2.
looking to be in. Does he have 2?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got
so
2.
You have 2. You have an A and a B, just like he was here, and just like he was in Buffalo, and just like he was in New York. Like everywhere he's gone, it's been like a 1A, 1B, and he's come out on top. I think that's like maybe that helps him out a little bit, and maybe he signs a little bit longer because they know that Flower is just gonna be injured the next 5 years.
I don't know if he's going to hit that, though.
Yeah, what would they all right. First of all, Flowers getting like $7+ million a year right now.
Yeah. So when he leaves, it's like that contract's going to shoot through the roof. So you give him a bridge deal and be like, hey, here's 3 years.
No, he's not going to get a bridge deal.
Lehners?
There's no fucking way. Yeah, Lehners like 28.
Or they give him like heavy money up front with a low like average, because in the later years he won't be making as much, just to be like, hey, we can't give you $7 million throughout the rest of it, but we're just gonna front load the shit out of this contract so stay until Flowers gone. You know what I mean?
Talking about his contract situation, one thing that came up after the trade happened was I forgot the reporter he writes for The Athletic was saying that he talked to Lehners and that said that he would have done a 3-year deal for lesser money to stay in Chicago.
Less than he was asking.
Right. Now
we don't know what he was asking
exactly.
for sure, by the way.
And then it kind of came out that Bowman wasn't going to give him more than 2 years.
Why? Who do you got in the pipeline? Colin
Lankinen
started out in the ECHL as a backup last year, or Lankinen, who he's
Lankinen, bro.
What's that?
Lankinen.
That's whatever his name is. Yeah. Like, is he really going to be your answer when Corey Crawford finally has to
Probably. I mean, he helped Finland win the World Cup last year at the end of the season.
Okay.
Well, just think about that.
I don't know. I'm not saying that's the answer, but wouldn't you rather have a real solid goalie who right now with the players like Taves and Kane are getting to that point where it's like maybe 3 years you start talking about, well, what are they going to do when their numbers start dropping, right?
Well, you're entering their years where their age that it goes as a decline now. I'm not saying that they're going to, because they are obviously above and beyond what the average player is. But I mean, early 30s is when you start seeing this decline in all these guys, and so you're essentially wasting some of the best years of Taves and Kane's time trying to prove a point. I feel that he can do this. I don't know.
But the crazy thing to me too is you could have it set up where it's hey, Robin, we're gonna move you at the deadline because you're valuable, and your contract's gonna be up at the end of the season. We would love to have you back, but give us a chance to recoup some or get some assets for you, and then get you back and basically just get free assets out of it. That'd be fucking cool. The Hawks are clearly a bubble team. I mean, not really a bubble team. They're trying to be a bubble team.
Yeah.
So if you go the rest of the year and just rock Corey Crawford and Robin Lehner, you can just end up it's kind of why didn't we just get something for one of them,
Yeah.
So that's where I'm seeing it. And then a lot of people are oh, why didn't they get so much more for Lehner? It's because you only get 2-3 months of them. You're not getting guaranteed. And what I'm saying about that too is there's no way in hell that Vegas will fucking be able to sign him after this. That's just not going to work for them. They already have $7 million. They have $7 million tied up in Marc-Andre Fleury, and they're not going to be able to move Fleury probably because he has a no trade clause. And then they only have a few guys that are signed long term. I mean, they're all making a bunch of money. If they want to keep some of these players that they have on this team, they're going to need to find a way to fit them in. And the way that they're fitting Lehner in right now is because he's only technically 1.4, but it's just whatever's left of that for the rest of the year is going against their salary. There's no way in hell if he wants to make $8 or $9 million, they're not going to be spending $16 million on 2 fucking goalies for at least 2 more years.
I was originally upset about the return that the Hawks got for him because I felt that he was worth a lot more. But then the more I kind of sat back and processed it and looked at it more, it's impossible to make a trade like this for a goalie and get, especially a goalie that's going to be a free agent next year, and try to get full value. Players are a completely different situation. That's why people are oh, why do players always pull up these first round or big name prospects? Well, it's you need some of these players they make the difference going into the playoffs, where these teams going into the playoffs already have their goalies set. Yeah. Most of these teams aren't going to go and give you multiple first-round picks for a rental goalie, because chances are if they're in a situation where they need that goalie, they're going for back insurance. They're not going for, okay, we need a number one guy.
Yeah, that's true. There was very few teams in the past that have needed to get a number one guy, and the one that I can think of most recently was when the Blues were going for it a few years ago, and they picked up Ryan Miller. Yeah, and it was just that's what they needed, and guess what? They got shat on by the Blackhawks. Sucks, man.
Not a big deal.
Did not play well at all.
Fucking love that. But I mean, it's a huge thing. Like a lot of times these playoff contending teams are not looking for like number one goaltender status. They're looking to just actually get like either insurance in net, or they're looking for like power up front, or like something else on D. So that's why you don't give up as much for that.
This is just kind of, I mean, Vegas is a freak situation. I mean, they're just going all in because I think, as you mentioned earlier with their cap situation, they know they have, if they're going to win, it's going to have to be in the next year or two before they have to really make some tough decisions with their roster. So that's why they were kind of a freak situation to pick up Lehner. Because I remember seeing that first notification. I'm like, why the fuck would Vegas want Lehner? But it makes sense for them.
Well, that's the funny thing too, because like at the beginning of the year when we signed him, I was like, "What are we doing? Like, we have Corey Crawford." It's like kind of the same thing. It's like they're probably like Vegas fans are like, "Wait, we have Marc-Andre Fleury. What are we doing? Okay, cool, sounds good. This is gonna be fun for the rest of the year." Because that's what I thought. I was like, "Oh fuck, man! Like having a great like 1A 1B situation."
Well, I think it's like a smart move in the sense that like you don't take a lot of money. Right, like you said, you only get 1.4. He's only here for how long? And if you have a team right now that could go all the way again and make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, and it's like, well, if Flower's very testy, like he's been up and he's been injured a bunch like over the last 5 6 years, and like
and he hasn't played very well this season either, except for like the first game that Lehners backing him up, he gets a fucking shutout against Edmonton. Okay.
Yeah, it's like maybe it's just like, hey, we have an assurance, and then it's like, who's got the hot hand now? Exactly. And I think for the Hawks picking up Lehner, even in the first place, was like, you have one more year left of Corey Crawford, so they might just not even re-sign Crawford.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that was one of the things where it's like they clearly wanted them to battle it out throughout the year, and I mean, there's tons of value there for Lehner. Like, I'm sure a lot of people wanted him. Plus, Corey Crawford has a no-movement contract, so it's like, I don't know how that exactly works. Like, the no-trade, no-movement, like, I always get confused. I know the no-movement, you can't be, like, brought down to the AHL or
you can't go to the minors. You can't go anywhere.
Like, I think that's when you have to have your list is no movement, but no trade is like you just have to waive your no trade, and then it's open.
Some no movement or some no trade clauses is like a full no trade, and then there's like a limited where that's where
there's like modified no trades, and like it's always fun and confusing.
Which
just like advanced stats, like it's fine.
It's one of those things where it's like it's also kind of cheap as it for a team to be like, oh, we'll give you no movement, no trade clause, but instead of $9 million, we'll give you 8.2, and like that's how they get guys to go lower, and then you get a guy that like at the end of his career, he's not an $8.2 million player, let alone $1 player, which he would have been.
Every
and so they're like, well, can you waive it? Because like we want you off of our team,
No.
And then it's like, you told me you give me less money and you wouldn't move me at all. Like, no, fuck off.
The Bowman.
Yeah.
As we like to call it.
Yeah.
Or as I like to call it.
It's like, before you sign that contract, how about I just slap on a no movement clause on there for you? Sweeten the deal. We're like, well, we were going to sign it anyway, but okay, sounds great.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
The move with Parise too. Like, it's like one of those things where it's like you have this no trade, no movement clause, but it's like neither player really wanted to move from where they were at. It was Parise and someone from Pittsburgh. I don't even know who it was. And they're like, neither guy was like, you're not going to make this work for me, so fuck you. Like, neither one of them waived it, so it just didn't go through.
That's what happens when you're pretty fucking good.
So Lehner's been a member of the Knights for 3 days now, technically 3.5. He spoke to the media probably about 2 out of those 3 days, just nonstop talking about the whole situation. Is it kind of
ask about it like fucking crazy?
Yeah, like, do you think it's kind of like, at what point do you think it's like, all right, dude, just avoid it, or do you think he's got the right still to be frustrated with how everything played out?
I mean,
because I know we were talking. The reason I'm asking this is kind of like how Poetz sent up a little message from today. And he's like, bitch. Yeah, exactly. Sorry,
I just think it's just a lot of players or a lot of like fans just aren't used to hearing NHL players speak their mind, and it's been refreshing to hear him speak his mind as like a fan of the Blackhawks and having him like be very blunt with everything. But then like as being a fan of the Blackhawks, when he's just like, oh, like this is all the shitty shit that's still happening. Like, it's like, all right, well, I don't really want to hear this. Like, fucking stop, please. Like, I get it. It's really annoying. Like, fuck, like they make mistakes or not mistakes. They just fuck up a lot. And It's like, cool, like, stop. You're in Vegas now, man. Like, enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it.
And then everybody still really wants you back, by the way. Except for Poets. Poets doesn't want him back at all.
No.
He thinks he sucks.
Post has been hating on him for like the last like 3 weeks.
But he was so good at the
What
beginning
has
of
he
the
got
year.
against him?
Just
He
he's
The
been
guy
just
can
said
stop a puck.
he showed us the stats of like since New Year's, like since 2020 started, like Lehner has been below average goalie. He's like 875 or something like that save percentage, like 3 point something goals against average, and like Crawford, it was like completely flipped from like before the New Year and then after. And Crawford's been at like 927 save percentage, like fucking like probably around the same goals against average because they fucking can't I don't know, keep shots away from the net. But
you see that in the game against St. Louis, both defensemen chase around and go into the corner, and there's just that whoever it was, a Thomas, just standing in front of the net.
oh yeah.
Like how do you let a player get right in front of your goalie 5 feet?
I don't know, man. But hey, you know what? Speaking of games, is there anything else you want to add about like the whole Lehner contract or like any of the Blackhawks like trade deals, or do you guys want to move on to the Blackhawks,
I just wanted to ask
actual like games they played recently?
Yeah, I just want to ask real quick, kind of like, just where's your confidence in like the Stan plan? You know, how do you feel about the team going in the direction where he's taking it, and do you feel confident enough that going into this offseason where there's going to have to be some big fucking questions answered and finally having some really good cap space, do you feel confident enough for him to make the right move to get us back to where we need to be?
I think that there's like possibility to make a great move, and I think that he'll be too scared to make it. Which means it'll be a bunch of small moves that seem really stupid and don't really impact anything. Just kind of like the biggest move we had over the summer was getting Lehner, and like that's great. And it worked out where we got a second and a backup goalie and a prospect, which is cool because guess what? We signed Lehners. We didn't like give up anything for him, and we just kind of got shit for him. That's one of the things that's also bothered me too, is when the fact that everybody thinks that we should have gotten so much more for everybody. It's like, you don't know what the fair value is for that. Like everybody's like, oh, they should have traded Gus at the top value. It's like, okay, but let's assume Gus has that same year this year as he did last year, and we're still in the same spot. Yeah, sure. Now we get 2 firsts or something like that. Like, or even a first and a prospect. Like, you kind of hold on hoping for more, and it's just like, you know what? It sucks. It didn't work out that way, but we still got something. It's like, I think that there's potential to actually do a lot of good shit. We'll just see what fucking happens. I always hope for the best, but like, who the fuck's gonna know what's going on in the front office? Like, we signed Lehner when we had Crawford. Like, all right, we'll fucking figure something else out. That's gonna be pretty fucking silly.
Well, and like, what if this kid ends up being like a stud too?
Slava Demon.
I'm looking up his stats right now. Like, he's a BCHL kid. He played 2 years there. He put up pretty good in like 57 games. He put up 45 points 2 years ago. Like, BCHL, no one plays defense, and the game's like 11-10. So take that with a grain of salt. But still, like, he's only got 14 points last year, 9 points this year in 30 games. Like, he might be a good like two-way guy. He might be some stud. Like, you never know. And the next year or two, he could just develop. And same thing with Subban. I mean, the guy's had a rough go of it. But you got to think, like, they always thinking that these guys are going to be the answer, and eventually, maybe one time you shoot 100, and you land one of them. Maybe that one gets you over the edge to like.
I don't think
even the
second
second rounder is going to be pretty fucking good too. Like, a second round pick is nothing to scoff at. Like, we've had plenty of luck in the second round. Fucking DeBrincat, Saad, and wasn't Keith a second rounder as well? Like,
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, Keith's not one of like our or one of Bowman's picks, but like DeBrincat and Saad, I'm pretty sure are
not Saad.
Not Saad?
No, I believe he was like one of Dallon's last ones.
Whatever.
I will double check that though, because I feel like Saad's been like around forever.
I was honestly, I wasn't gonna. I'm not gonna say that I don't want him on our team because he's a good player, but like, in the end of the day, like, we need more goals. We don't need,
All right, I stand corrected. He did. He was his first draft.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, we need more goals, and Brandon Saad really doesn't get you goals. And I was saying that.
Brandon Saad is like second on the team in goals.
Like, motherfucker! It's like the one time he scores a goal the entire year so far. It's when I say he needs to score more goals. Like,
Well, he's just listening to you, man. That's all.
More goals.
He scores that goal. It's like, that's for you, fucking Meegan. Stop talking shit.
Motherfucker! That's for you, you dumb piece of shit.
I'm just really interested. I know what I say doesn't really have a lot of merit just because I'm a well-known Bowman hater and all that, but
Hate.
Is that the fucking haters ball from like Chappelle's?
Haters ball.
It's like, oh my god, that's perfect.
But like, I don't know. I think given what our offense is fine. I feel maybe add like another top 9 guy would be nice because I don't know if re-sign Carpenter. I hope they bring him back.
Yes.
Maybe
what's
add
Carpenter's deal right now? Is he
I
only
think
on a
he's-
1 year?
1 year, like $1 million.
Fuck.
I think
Bring
he'll
him
he'll
back.
be easy to re-sign because he's getting a lot of time and they're trusting him with a lot, like face-offs in his.
No, he's got a 3-year deal.
Carpenter?
Yeah, dude. He's 3 year, $1 million each. That's a fucking steal and a half.
Really? I
I
thought he only signed a
love
1
Carpenter.
year.
I love Carpenter.
Also about Camp too, like that guy's been that whole line, like those young guys that like in those depth guys have been doing pretty goddamn well
Yeah.
the last couple of weeks, and it's like, where is DeBrincat? Where is Strome? Like, yeah, you score 1 or 2 in like these big games, but like you go 4 or 5 games without a fucking point. And
Yeah, it's hard for them though too, because last year they got a lot of points just being on the same line as Kane, and that's not happening this year.
Yeah.
It's Sod's on his line now, and Sod's having a great fucking year because it was Kane. Like,
People need to get off DeBrincat. Like, it's a sophomore slump. That's what I'm chalking it up as. The kid's gonna be fucking fine. He is
it is third year. It's his
Third
sophomore.
year.
Oh, is it? Jesus
Yeah, dude.
Christ.
this is a big old vet shit. That's what it's called. Big old
That's,
veteran.
that's called the junior year fucking 10 pounds. I don't know. Like, freshman 15 for him. He's in college. Like,
Dude, I keep fucking forgetting.
His
Hold on,
first season.
man.
His first season, he had 28. Led the Hawks in fucking goals. And then
Regardless.
last year he had like 44.
Regardless,
Shit.
his junior slump, he's fine. No, but that kid has just got the worst luck this year. He's so fucking snake bitten. I think he's gonna be fucking fine next year. We just need to really just get that back and solidified. Get another good fucking piece. Hopefully that's at Ian Mitchell's coming in.
Yeah.
Get him in the mix, and then figure out who the fuck's gonna be playing goalie. I'm still convinced. I'm not convinced Crawford's back. Even with Lehners gone, I'm still not convinced Crawford signs.
I don't think he signs. I don't think.
I think
and if they do, he's gonna be the number 2. He's gonna be paid as a number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll be paid less, I think, for sure. There's no way they're going to pay him more. I think they'll still offer him something.
Yeah.
But they might give him so undervalue of an offer that they're like, if you can sign it if you want, otherwise we're going to walk away. But I don't know. You never know. That could be the move that Stan makes where you're like, he gave him what? 7.5 for 4 more years? Like, why? He's like, I can see that just as well.
His history of injury plus his age, don't fucking pay him. Like, do not pay him like what he's gonna want. He's gonna want that $6.5 million range. I guarantee it.
Yeah. And he's not like the way that his health has been, like you said, like I don't think he's even seeing the puck that well. Like he touched 3 of those 6 goals. He touched them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's all the way there. I think he still has problems seeing the puck a lot of times. Like when it's coming through guys from the point, no one's on him, and he's shifting, trying to cheat a little bit because he has no idea where the fucking puck is. The puck goes right over his shoulder, over the short side. It's like, you don't let that happen if you know what's going on.
He's been doing great. He's doing a lot better than I thought he was when he came back from last year, 2 years ago, the bad injury. So I'm fucked up on my years now. But like, he clearly, I mean, it's got to be obvious to everybody. He's not the same goalie he was before that.
Still love him, but like, it's rough seeing a guy go down by not just being old. It's like injuries just destroyed you, man. Like, but who knows? Maybe he can turn it around, get his head straight.
Yeah.
So I just realized that the second rounder that we got from Vegas is actually Pittsburgh's second rounder.
So it's gonna be a shit pick.
Yeah, it's from the expansion draft.
Oh wow!
It's like the expansion draft considerations that Pittsburgh gave to Vegas. So it's not that we got
so
it.
They wouldn't pick up somebody. Who was that?
Oh no! So that was the pick, so that they would take Marc-Andre.
So that they would take Marc-Andre.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's fucking hilarious.
That's so. Whatever, man.
My God.
That's fucking
Oh
crazy.
man. So besides the trade deadline, there was some hockey played for the Hawks.
Yeah, it wasn't very good, but
Yeah.
there was some played. Oh, it's so
Let's
frustrating.
see.
So we got all excited about them going against the Rangers, and Rangers have been flying so fucking high. And that's all right, yeah. So that's where we picked up from
Yeah.
on Wednesday last week. On the 19th, the Hawks played the Rangers, and they got
Panarin's return.
smoked.
Yeah.
6-3. Wait, it was 1-1 heading into the third, and then the Rangers scored 5 goals.
Jesus
Serious?
Christ.
Are you serious? Like, oh man, how does that happen?
Yeah.
I was at work, so I didn't get to see it. I just looked at my phone, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I was trying to pop in and out. Like I wasn't getting the whole game, but I was trying to update it as much.
Every
as
time I turned the game on, it was fucking New York just destroying us. Panarin being a beast out there.
He's so fucking good. I love Panarin.
It sucks we couldn't afford to keep him. Like, and that's another thing too. People think it's like, oh, we should have just kept him. Well, we're not gonna be able to pay him the $12 million he wanted. So,
Well, yeah, but he also still had
2 years to figure it out.
Yeah.
Two years compared to 4 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. That's everyone's justification of it. It's like, well, you got 2 extra years out of Brandon Saad. It's like, okay, what's 2 years out of just a third line guy who can kind of shut down, kind of score, as opposed to one of the top goal scorers and point producers in the NHL.
Yeah.
You don't just give that away.
We also haven't fucking been back to the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, he brought Columbus there, and now he's bringing New York there. It's like, dude, this guy could have carried a team. Patrick Kane goes down. Anyone else who scores goes down. You have Panarin.
This is what I've been saying. If Panarin wills his fucking team to the playoffs, Panarin for Hart is should be a real fucking big deal because he's on pace for 110 points right now, which is insane for the team that he's playing with. He is the offense, and he is showing up all the time. And he's fucking
when Zibanejad scored that goal, there was 4 guys around Panarin on the sideboard. And he just pokes it out, and Zibanejad just winds up from another postal district and just rips it. Just fucking clapper. And Panarin just skating around everybody in his zone. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna poke this over. He loses the puck and still gets the pass to him at the top of the slot.
He's doing his high kicks as he's fucking passing it.
I love his Broadway fucking high kicks. It's
so great.
It's the silliest fucking thing. And I'm sure he did that too when he signed that contract. He was just woo! Fucking Panarin. And then how can you not love him when he has videos online of him dangling around his dog?
All the time. There's actually one thing that you guys won't get this, but there's this band called Knocked Loose, and it said Knocked Loose plays in the background. It's this hardcore band. Now I sent it to all my buddies, and the NHL posted it. I was like, how the fuck does the NHL know about some little garage hardcore band? And it's just Panarin with his leg all the way up in the air, and I was like, yeah, let's throw down. I was so excited about that. That's my little tidbit of Meegan's Corner. Just
That's lovely. Fuck, man.
So they got their dicks beat in by New York, lost 6-3. Then they come back on Friday, face Nashville, and hey, it was their one win.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Overtime win against the Preds.
Oh, I said that they were 0-3-1. They were 1-3-0.
1-3-0. Okay,
that's my bad. Yeah. So they won in overtime, which sucks because it's the Predators, and you want to beat them in regulation. You're a team that that's a team you're chasing.
Yeah.
This was the DeBrincat game too.
What, he played there?
DeBrincat scored both goals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he got a power play, and then he also had the game winner in overtime. I missed that game because he was too busy getting my ass beat.
This was also Duncan Keith's 500th assist game.
Oh yeah, which is good. You'll love to see that out of it. You'll love to see those little accomplishments.
And I mean, that's pretty fucking amazing because that's hard. That's a hard achievement for a defenseman. I know a lot of his like Norris Trophy years, he's like putting up 60 plus assists, and a lot of those were definitely secondary assists.
Oh,
yeah.
But I mean, that's good, and it's awesome to have a player like that in your history on the team. Which, I mean, as much as we dog on him, like Keith has been good, and he's just not as good as he used to be.
Yeah, he's gone from a top 2 to a top 3, top 4. Like he's still got a ton of value.
He's a top 4, yeah.
Like,
and his contract's not bad. It's just
no, yeah,
I
now
think
it's not bad, right?
Yeah, we've said it before too. I think it's more the fact that people harp that he's like still the greatest defenseman.
Yeah.
Like he's his Norris defenseman, but he's not.
No,
That's the biggest. Yeah, that's the biggest. That's why I get so down on him because I'm just like, no, he's not fucking that good anymore. Like,
yeah.
It's like there's a million fucking better defensemen in the league right now, and like technically he's our best, and like that doesn't mean he's that great though.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's like, come on, guys.
And when he skate all over the ice like he does, like there's a comparison when he was like a third or fourth year player, like him against Lindstrom in the same game, and like Lindstrom had like 2 lines, and he just like did like one big circle, and then like Duncan Keith is just like this all over the fucking like he's behind the offensive net and all this shit. It's like he did that for how many years, and you just can't do it anymore. Your legs just can't do that for 82 games for 13 seasons, right? Like no one's gonna be that good for that long.
No. Yeah, especially with like we've always been saying too, with all of the extra games that he's played too.
Yeah.
On top of that, all the playoff games and all the Olympics and everything is just like, fuck, man, those legs have a lot of miles on them.
Steve played a lot of fucking hockey, man.
Yeah. And how great has it been though?
Yeah. I mean, 3 Stanley. Like you're never gonna rag on. Like everyone rags on Brent Seabrook. You're like, remember all the times that he like won us a game, like that backdoor, all those backdoor plays where he just like came out of nowhere and the fall into the corner, all that shit. Like he's been there for you. Like don't rag on him too hard. You can.
Yeah, it's the newer fans, and then you're just like, do you not remember? Like this team, like a lot of these guys won us Stanley Cups, and you're gonna shit on them for signing a big contract.
Yeah.
Like, it's not there. They didn't come up with the deals.
No, just give me $3 million. I don't need that full 7. No, come on, don't do that.
Fucking dumb.
Like they offer to you. What do you like? I'm not gonna take it. No, I'm not gonna set up my family and everyone else.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So
it's not like they fucking tried hard, like less hard.
Yeah, exactly.
So they started that Central Division, like little swing of their schedule, beating Nashville. Then they come in Sunday with a huge game against Dallas, and they fucking lose 2-1.
But I was watching that game, and Dallas, man, like Cute Open, I don't understand, just plays really good against the Hawks. It's just like, just kind of like one of those players where like Varlamov did it when he was in Colorado too.
Yeah.
It's just, like, it doesn't matter like what's going on in the game. They're just like, it's shutdown mode right now.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Like, can you not? Like, can you not, please?
Yeah.
He's got, whether it's like a stick it to him or whatever, it's just he just kind of lucks out. Like,
yeah, I mean, just in the fucking zone, like they didn't play terribly. Like Dallas definitely eliminated a lot of their second chance opportunities, but I mean, it's hard to like not walk away with a point in that game though too, and especially when Corey Perry scores Corey Perry assisted on the game winner to Sagan, where he just sitting right in front. It's like, no, like don't slide that way. It's he hasn't shot it yet. Don't go down. Like, what are you doing? Oh, Jesus Christ.
That team is good though.
But Kubalik scores again.
What a stud.
26 on the year.
I was so excited.
He might end up with more than DeBrincat during his rookie year, because DeBrincat had 28 his rookie year. Also, DeBrincat was only like fucking 19 or 20. And
that's true.
Kubalik's like 23. But that doesn't matter.
As soon as Kubalik figured out like the North American ice game, like because the ice changes.
Yeah. I think that's a huge deal. Like he definitely was pumping in a lot more goals like December, January, and now.
Yeah, like as soon as he started like figuring out like the short steps, you got to get it on and off your tape.
Yeah.
You can't dick around with it. Go hard, like all those cliches. Go hard to the net. Like you don't have to do
Pucks
that.
in deep.
What's he
Also,
have?
I mean, he started the year on the third line, and like him and Carpenter both are like the guys that like worked their fucking ass off and worked their way up the lineup. And
I would say he is the first line right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
He is
dude.
the first line.
It's so nice finally having like a true winger to play with Taves.
An actual shooter.
Yeah, like oh my god, the difference that makes.
Yeah.
I was watching. I think it was during the Dallas game. I was watching it, and there was like on the power play, and like he just wants to shoot so much that he was like falling over. He's like, "Fuck it, put it on net." It was just like, "All right, there you go, Kubalik. There's your shot." Oh, it's fucking great.
Yeah, and looking at their roster right now, like your right wings right now, like your top two are Kubalik and Kane, and it's like then who do you have on the left like scoring? Like DeBrincat's not scoring, he's on the third line. Nylander's not really scoring, and Saad's not really scoring. Like you really don't have anything until you hit Highmore, who scored the goal on Tuesday. Yeah, and it's like, why is like our fourth line guy our only left wing scorer? Like we got to change something up just a little bit. Like put some firepower up on those top two lines. Just let them run. Like we need more scoring. Why is every line I look at right here just looks like, oh, it's a very balanced line. You have one guy who scores, one guy who plays two-way, and one guy who grinds. It's like, let's just like stop that old school shit. Like it's 2020. Like let's score some fucking goals.
Yeah, I really think if you really need DeBrincat to start scoring, like you got to move him up in the lineup. He needs to get more opportunities to shoot with like some better players on his line where he's not clearly the only like one that's going to score.
Yeah, and you can't have him in Kajula be the veterans on Kirby Doc's wings. Like Kirby Doc doesn't. He needs guys that.
Well, no, it's DeBrincat and Strome and Doc, isn't it? Like, well, or did they switch it up?
Right now, the starting lineups for last game were.
Oh, you're looking at St. Louis.
No, I'm looking at I'm looking at line combinations on Daily Faceoff, and they even call it, and I'll give them credit for.
Is that the line faceoffs for today?
I believe so. Yeah. So like,
okay.
The Brinkhead's all the way on the third line with Doc and Kajula, and then it's Saad, Taves, Kubalik on the first, and then Nylander, Strome, Kane. Then that fourth line's still the same.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I haven't been like noticing while having the game on the back that they switched up the lines like that. I mean, fuck. I don't know. Good for Saad making it to the first line. I don't know. Like Saad would probably regress more to that two-way role that he had when it was like him, Hossa, and like Taves.
He just needs to learn to adapt to that Hossa role.
I really like Saad on Kane's fucking wing because Saad is that he's kind of very similar in a way in my mind to like Crosby, where he's got his legs are so fucking strong. He powers past people down the fucking boards all the time and then just cuts straight to the net. And there's been a few times this year where like they throw at the net and Saad's like got a fucking stick on it. And I love Saad. He's great. I just wish he was a lot more consistent, you know. But I can pretty much say the same thing now with DeBrincat. It's like I wish there was more consistency this year. Yeah. But I think we've discussed like it's just like a down year for him.
Yeah. Wow. But like he has flashes like when he did that at the red line, neutral zone, and just backhand all the way across the boards to the wing, and then they scored the goal. I think it was Saad or Strome or someone, but he just did this sauce, and you're just like, you can do that every single shift. Like, why aren't you? You know, and it's easy to say.
Just tossing sauce everywhere.
So, tossing sauce, and then other times he's losing the fucking puck on a breakup.
Fucking call him Mario.
Tape to tape, and he loses the goddamn puck.
So then the last game that was played during this little span from us last recording was St. Louis on Tuesday.
What the fuck happened? Because I was at work and I check my phone every once in a while. I'm like, okay, there's a fucking ton of goals going on. I was like, I was assuming that we would get some saves.
No. Hawks came out looking like fucking horseshit the first 5 minutes of the game.
They got a penalty right away.
Yeah.
Like right away. It's like, how does that even fucking happen?
It wasn't a great call either. I remember looking at it and the announcers were like,
11 seconds in. 11 seconds in. Oh my God.
Connor Murphy tripping 11 seconds in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Braden
right
Shen was
before
left
that,
wide open
when
too, and that.
when they scored the tying goal, it was Kirby Doc who got and it was just a simple little guy got out of his way, this little tap, gets the puck, and that's like that little tap is not what got him the puck. Like, let's not call that in the corner.
Yeah.
Doc's got vet moves all year.
Oh, dude,
he knows that they called a soft one, and then now they owe us one, so he's gonna take a soft one.
Yeah.
Keith gets his 100th career goal off a
Yep.
fucking statement shot too.
Yeah.
Like he fucking let that rip, top of the circle on the power play. Awesome play too by Taves to win that cleanly and then just tie up O'Reilly. Not letting him get in front of the shot there. And then what was it like?
I just wanted to point out too, my favorite Duncan Keith stat is I looked up all like the goals that he scored against all the other teams. He scored the most goals in his career against St. Louis, and he scored 11 of his 100 against St. Louis, and I was like,
wow.
"Fuck yeah, man!" It's so great. I mean, look, he's actually played Nashville more. He's played against Nashville 81 times, and he's played against St. Louis 77. But yeah, St. Louis is responsible for 11% of Duncan Keith's goals. And I just fucking love it. I feel like he always scores against the Blues for some reason, because there was that one time a couple of years ago that kept the Blues out of the playoffs because he scored with 2 seconds left in their game.
Yeah, it was like end of the season, yeah.
That's my so memorable, because it's like all the Blues fans were like, "Fuck Duncan Keith."
And it's a great statement, even especially because you're playing against all-time goaltenders like Marty Brodeur all the time. You know, the St. Louis great. He's a legend in St. Louis.
He's a St. Louis legend, man. Just like Marty Turco's a fucking Blackhawks legend.
Yeah,
he is a Blackhawks legend. All right, that you better not be saying that sarcastically.
Those red pads.
Style. Marty Turco is the best style out of any goaltender in the entirety of the NHL.
I love Marty Turco. He's great.
So it was just one of those games that kind of just showed that we have no depth at defense, and just how strong of an offense the fucking Blues are. Anytime we get a goal or take the lead, they had an answer for us. A good positive on it though is the Hawks were 3 for 4 on the power play. Which
we lose Gus, and then we're on the power play and scoring more.
That's actually 3 straight games with the power play goal. So
weird. Yeah, but this was the first game after the trade deadline.
Right,
so,
yeah.
Which is just we could barely buy a power play goal, and our power play was the one that was making us suffer throughout the fucking games. And then all of a sudden, we get power plays and we're converting, and you're like, hello? Was this mic on the whole time? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. It's also hard to win games when you only shoot 22 pucks on net.
Yeah.
You score 5 goals and you shoot 22 pucks.
Did they really only have 22 shots?
22 shots. That's what I'm seeing on the stat line.
Oh, hey, guess what I was looking at too? Connor Murphy had 5 of those fucking shots.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring this up too. It's if you really want DeBrincat to start scoring, you probably should put him on a better line. Also, Connor Murphy shouldn't be taking more shots than DeBrincat.
Yeah.
Keith had 4 shots.
Blackhawks had 30.
9 of their fucking 22 come from Keith and Murphy. DeBrincat had 2 shots.
30 shots.
They had 30? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Still 6 of those are side, then add that in there.
That's even. Sorry, I'm looking at the even line. It's 30 altogether. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, still, 8 shots on fucking – how many power plays they have? 4?
Yeah.
That's 2 shots of power play. That's, that's what you expect. You expect 2 shots on a power play. If you have 0 power plays, you're not getting those extra 8 shots. They just don't generate enough.
So, that was a kind of a game that you kind of figured they were going to lose. It was just kind of nice that they still had some fight in them. That was an easy game.
I thought they were going to fucking win when they were up 3-1.
Well, no, I'm saying though, going into that game after the trade deadline, kind of hearing the guys talk about how you could totally tell that they weren't all aboard about Lehners getting moved and Gus getting moved and all that. Kind of felt that a little defeated going into it a bit. It kind of felt like this was an easy game for them to lose, but they came out so poorly that it could have been a long ass night. But I mean, they made it entertaining.
Yeah. It was fun to watch. I started watching after it was 3-1, and after it was 2-1 in the first period, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a cool game. They're gonna get maybe they'll get shit on, who knows? And then just all fucking hell breaks loose in the third.
Yeah. Fuck, man. again, another late, like, third period, they score 4 fucking goals. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Same thing against, like, the Rangers when they scored 5. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, third period meltdowns, man.
Yeah.
It's always so deflating, too. And if you go into a fucking period with a lead to just get destroyed in that third period, it's like, what the fuck? Like, 40 minutes of actual winning hockey.
All right, well, we'll see how they do tonight against Tampa, because Tampa is another team that they just went all in. They're like picking up guys, and you're like, do you even need these guys? Like, you have like guys who are like, they got 20 goals, but they're still sitting in the fucking press box right now because you just have so many assets. Like, let's see how they do tonight.
They are fucking stacked. That team was already just on fire, and they're like, let's just add more firepower. Like, fuck it. Like, jeez, I don't understand the trade though for Barclay Goodrow.
All right, so since it seems like we're making that transition, any final thoughts on well, Hawks talk before?
Fuck, man, what do we have coming up? I mean, we got Tampa right now,
Florida on Friday, then we have Anaheim, Edmonton, Detroit, St. Louis.
It's gonna more than likely just be fucking 500 hockey from here on out.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, those 4 of those 6 teams are all like really dominant right now.
Yeah,
like, they're on runs. Like, everyone but like Anaheim and Detroit.
I would absolutely love for the Hawks to still go on a run, because I still, like, I'm all in. Like, I want them to be in the playoffs so bad, but it's like, do they want to be in the playoffs? Because playing these 40 minutes out of 60-minute games isn't fucking doing it, you know? I mean, Crawford's got to be comfy.
Yeah, I think it's over. Playoff. I mean, it's not completely shut, but I think the door is about to be locked on the playoffs for this year.
Yeah, they have like a 4% chance of making it now.
Like,
Like I said, I would love it. I would love it. I would hope so. I want it so bad, but I only see like they need to make a miracle fucking run.
This schedule was fucking set up perfect for them. If they would have just won 10 those games, those close games throughout the beginning of the year, they got in March alone, fucking Edmonton's good. Anaheim, Detroit, San Jose, Ottawa, back to back with Minnesota, Buffalo, LA, Montreal, like those are all games that have been fucking huge points for us.
Dude, these are gonna be fucking games that they're gonna end up winning all of them, and then I'm just gonna my heart's gonna fucking sink when they miss the playoffs by 3 points or something, and I'm just gonna be like, motherfuckers! Like, if they had kept Gus, if they kept Lehners,
big pick overall next.
Yeah, we're gonna end up with fucking.
We didn't even get a good pick out of not making. 14th or 13th. But...
No, dude, the NHL's rigged. We're gonna get a top 3 pick no matter what.
We're taking Detroit's
my hockey market. I forgot about that TV market. That's what it is.
We're taking Detroit's number 1. Let's go.
It's like
or Ottawa's fuck.
We need a miracle run so bad, but we're not going to be the team that gets one because we already had won so many cups during the 2010s. Yeah. We're just not a miracle run team right now. Miracles are on our side.
Speaking of miracle, you hear that? It was 40 year.
Oh yeah, 40 was on Saturday. The 40th was Saturday for beating Russia. And then was it Monday was the anniversary of the actual gold medal?
Yeah. Monday they played Miracle nonstop. They played the recap of Miracle, the documentary series. They played all of it.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I sat at home and watched it all.
USA baby, let's go.
USA. Also, can we just get this on the table a little bit more? Meegan's Corner. Miracle's not the greatest hockey movie of all time. It's a good one.
It's top. It's top.
I like it. Top five. It's my favorite Disney movie though. I'll tell you that.
Okay, I'll agree with that. I'll take that as an.
What's your number one? What's your number one then?
Hockey movie. The best hockey movies are
Slapshot.
Slapshot or Goon. Goon.
I love Goon.
Of what hockey is. Miracle really wasn't. It was about hoorah and about the story other than the actual game of hockey.
So back when Miracle was in movie theaters, by the way, just a little side story onto your side story. I was playing on was it my Bantam Chicago Flames team, and we were going to the state playoffs, and so we all went as a team to go watch the movie. Won the fucking state playoffs. No big deal. we all stood up at the end of the movie, just fucking cheering USA, just fucking going bananas.
I was playing for the Viking Silver 1 band or Pee Wee team. I think it was Pee Wee. And the band or the Pee Wee Silver 2, one of the dads on the team is fucking loaded. Rented out an entire the entire theater. So it just had the two teams watching it. And it was the fucking coolest thing. It was like being in a room, nothing but hockey players was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Tanner,
that's the one with Nicky Thumbs, little guy. That's
what Nicky Thumbs. Nicky Thumbs. Nicky Iannaco, if you're listening to this, I love you, bud. I still miss you.
So in NHL talk, two quick little notes, and then because I think we're going to drive deep into the trade deadline a bit. One, Ovechkin number 700, baby.
Yeah.
That's
pretty good.
There. Yeah.
I still have a chance at hitting 700 if I go to the show, but
and then on the night they celebrate his 700th goal, he scores 701.
Dude, he's a multi-goal fucking scorer now. Like he doesn't just score one a game. Like he's like hat trick or bust. Fuck you.
Yeah. So he's like it's like 100. What is it, 194 to break it? And and he's played 357 less games than Gretzky, I think. At this point,
insane. That is absolutely insane.
He's fucking doing it.
Fuck, man. I love his energy.
What does he need?
Give me some Ovechkin juice, dude.
A goal a game. He needs 2 seasons to get there. What is it? 180 something?
I know.
194.
Okay, so he'll need 3 seasons of scoring, averaging a goal a game. So how many years do you think he has left? 5? 6?
6.
Yeah,
7?
6.
You see that Butcher Gross had pointed out the exact fucking date. He was like,
January 16th, 2026, I believe.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
he's like Ovechkin's gonna score.
Walk off the ice. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I won my cup. I got the scoring title.
He's gonna take his fucking helmet off. He's gonna pull like a Joe Thornton if Thornton were to score 4 goals and just go to center ice and just start stroking his dick, and then just skate off the ice.
When was the last time Joe Thornton scored more than 3 goals in his season?
It was 4. It was when Hurdle scored 4. He was like, "Fuck, man! If I scored 4 goals, I'd be skating down the ice, stroking my cock." I was just like, "Oh my fucking god, Joe!"
Oh my god! And then the other story that's been kind of taking over the PR world is the EBUG. The what's his name?
David Aris.
The Zamboni drive for the Toronto Marlies comes in emergency relief for Carolina, who both goalies just got fucking destroyed.
Well, did they both play? No. I thought Reimer got hurt before the game.
Reimer got hurt before.
So
I don't know.
He dressed, and then Mrazek got hurt during the game.
Yeah.
And so he came in like the second period.
Mrazek got blew the fuck
He got
up.
He gave up the first 2 goals on the first 2 shots.
Yeah.
And I was texting with you guys. I was like, yo, emergency backup's in. Like, check this fucking game out. Like, if Toronto doesn't win this game, like, they gotta fucking be stupid. Like, you gotta be kidding me. You just scored 2 goals on 2 shots. Like, just shoot the fucking puck.
Well, spoiler alert, Toronto loses that game.
Yep.
The game ends. Yeah. The game ends. We're sitting in the hotel room. And Nolly just puts his phone down, just laughing, goes, I hope they fucking miss the playoffs, and just like walks away, like grabs another beer.
They have like a period and a half just to come back. You know, they're already down. Like it was like 4-1 or something like that. They scored 2 right away. It's like fuck yeah, like they got this 2 goals, 2 shots. They got fucking so much time left in this game. They get 8 shots the rest of the fucking game.
Yeah.
8 shots. Like, are you
get for playing 26?
Afterwards, like I'd be more embarrassed if we won that game.
Who would? Toronto?
The Toronto GM. They go, how do you feel about it? And he was like, I'd actually be more embarrassed if we won because that means that we had to have an emergency backup goalie to win that fucking game.
Oh my god!
Like he was just like reamed into him. He was like, you guys just like what? I can't win here. Like I got some of the best guys. Like look at that team.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Like they're so underachieving this year. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's there's times where you're like, wow, Toronto's fucking nasty. And then you lose to a Zamboni driver who hasn't played competitive hockey in 5+ years.
Wearing your minor league team's gear.
Yeah.
Braden Point scored a goal already, guys. Sorry.
Fuck. I saw that.
All right, so trade deadline.
I was gonna say he
Oh,
also went into the game wearing blue pants. In between periods, they gave him a red shell. And now they had announced in North Carolina, like there's a David Aris Day, and he's a honorary North Carolinian. Just like
he rang in the siren.
Yeah. And then he also went to fucking practice with Toronto, and nobody wanted to fucking talk to him.
There was like a video I sent.
I
sent a video to the group chat. It was like a guy doing a voiceover, and he's like,
"Oh yeah."
It was like after a save, he's going to the board to get water. He's like, "Okay, fuck, gotta do this. I need some water. Okay, fuck, what do I say? Yeah, how was your night last night? No, fuck, don't ask that."
So the voiceover shit was good.
Yeah. So we definitely covered the Hawks trade deadline. So let's talk a little bit about NHL. And we'll wrap this thing up.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we said a lot of fucking moves were made this year, especially the morning of, like leading to the day of. I think it all got kicked off the night before with Colby going to Washington.
Yeah, Kolchak, man, like he came back onto the scene in Montreal and was just like, "Oh yeah, dude, like I can play." Yeah. Like, have you seen LA? Like, they're old as fuck. Like, fuck that shit. Like, I can play, man. And like upped his value, and Montreal's just like, yeah, we'll take a fucking third for him. We're paying $700,000. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Like they also don't need any more assets. Like they just have everybody at their disposal right now. So.
And then it's cup hunting right there.
Yeah, he is cup hunting. And then there was like a thing online I was seeing. It was just like, yo, you get a Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, Kovalchuk line. It's like, cool that you call it the Russian line or the KOK line, man. You call it the Coke line. Like, I don't know if Kuznetsov is allowed to do that anymore. It's just at least an Olympic competition, but
well, no, now is when he can do it because now he won't get suspended for anything else, and he's not going to do a damn thing about it.
It's just fucking. I just see the fucking T-shirts now. It's just a Washington like logo, and then it's just a powdered KOK line. It's just like, our favorite line's the Coke line. Like,
Jesus
what the
Christ.
fuck? Yeah. That's some fucking great shit. I love it. But I think that's a pretty fucking nice pickup if he like fits in super well with that team. There's a ton of Russians on that squad. Like,
you toss him on the power play, give him like third, fourth line minutes.
Yeah. I mean, he probably goes on power play line too. Like, he's a right-handed player, just like Ovechkin. He probably slots right in that same fucking spot. Or
unit.
Yeah, or you put him in on like maybe like, I don't know, somewhere along the point so that he can just feed him.
Yeah.
Like, if you had like Kovalchuk and Backstrom feeding pucks to Ovechkin on the power play.
Oh, he's gonna hit 700 this year. Or he's gonna hit.
Gretzky's yeah, dude, he already did that. Fucking old news, man.
703.
Fuck. There's some, all right. So
there's
that one went down the day before.
Yeah, shit ton of trades. So instead of going through all of them, what pick one that you thought was probably like the biggest splash?
Well, I'm gonna pick a team.
Okay,
Carolina.
go for it.
Carolina, fucking making moves. They picked up Vinny Trocheck. They also picked up, where the fuck is it? Sami Vatanen. And they made one more move, and it was for Brady Shea.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about this a little bit beforehand, but it's just like, I don't understand Carolina. Like, your defense is good, man. Like, what do you now you have Sami Vatanen, Brady Shea, Brett Pesce, Dougie Hamilton, fucking what else? Jakob Slavin, Jake Gardner, and I swear to God, there's one more, and I can't think of who's
pulling up right now. Slavin, Jake Gardner.
Oh, I guess I could just go to their fucking
Joel Edmondson,
TVR, yeah, like Stanley Cup winner, TVR.
Hayden Fleury.
They still have Hayden Fleury too.
Yeah.
Yo, like, what are you doing with this defenseman?
Dougie Hamilton's LTIR.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Yeah, Sami Vatanen is just regular IR.
Oh, it's so crazy to me. Like, they're just like stacking their defense. It's like, all right, man, if you're gonna do that, at least get Joe Quenneville to coach your team, because he was rocking 8 defensemen a game a few weeks ago when he had so many injuries, and he had like Petrovic and Matheson both playing on the fourth line, putting points up, like playing with Noah Chari.
Right now, they have $8 million worth of goalies on their roster, and that's for 4 goalies.
Wow.
Yo, what the fuck? Also, that Trocheck deal is insane. 4 players. And, like, 2 of them are, like, fucking actual NHLers.
Is there something I'm missing about him? Like, what? Why was Florida so, like, ready to get rid of him?
I don't think they needed to. I think Carolina was like, yo, we'll give you Holla and Walmart.
Yeah.
And 2 prospects. And they're like, yeah, okay. Like, like, yeah, well, we love Trocheck, but, like, fuck, man. Like, do they know? Like, they're giving us 4 dudes for him.
And, like, Hollow was having a pretty good year, too, in Carolina. Like, watching him play a couple of games, he's like, all those players that they got are going to help out their team. So, I think it was just a numbers thing. You give them enough, they're going to take it, right? And they're picking up how many defensemen was it? 3 defensemen that they picked up at the deadline. Like we need to get a really, really good forward if we're picking up 3 defensemen.
Yeah,
like get whatever you can for one really good guy.
They were still like in the hunt, trying to like get after like Robin Lehner as well, and it was just like, oh man, that's fucking crazy.
So Meegan, what is one trade or one team that you think stood out?
I'm going to choose 2 teams, and not that they stood out like.
So, don't try to limit us, Jarom.
I'm trying it. Vancouver and Washington, just because Vancouver is already showing that everything they've been doing the last 5 years, or 3 years, I should say, with all of their young guys and what they're doing this season, like leading the Western Conference for so long, like, and then picking up Tyler Toffoli is just like such a great.
That was a huge move.
Such a good move. And
I think he scored like the overtime winner in like his second game there or something too.
Yeah, he did something like that. And the game before, he scored a hat trick for LA, and then he gets traded.
It was the outdoor game. It was the first ever outdoor hat trick. We talked about that in the last pod. Go and check it out. No big deal.
Check it out. Awesome. All right, I'll make sure to listen in on you guys.
Just tell everybody to do it, not just you.
And then they also picked up a goalie. Who did they pick up? Louis Domingue, who's like a pretty serviceable backup. Like, he's been a suitcase too, but like, you give up a guy like in McIntyre that is younger but hasn't really done anything, and Louis Domingue, you're like, this guy served time in Arizona and Tampa Bay. Like, has been a serviceable backup.
He stepped in Tampa Bay, like, what was it, last year when Vasilevsky went down for a decent amount of games. And, like, played fine and, like, actually had a good save percentage. He was like, yo, I can do this. And then everybody was like, yo, Domingue, just so you know, with that team, anybody could fucking do that. So don't get all high on yourself, bud.
But he did pretty well in Arizona as well, right? Like, he was there.
Yeah, he was good. He was pretty good.
And then he went to New Jersey over the summer, and it was like, no one's doing well on New Jersey. They came out like they had like a little. That team
was supposed to make the playoffs, and they're not even anywhere close.
Yeah. So they were just getting rid of everybody. Like, why did Simmons go to Buffalo? Like, what is that trade? 2 teams that like don't really need him. Like, he's more of like a contender, right? Like, throw him on a depth line like that. But and then my other team, so Vancouver's one, and then Washington's the other because they just got better, like just better. They only made 3 trades, but they just got so much better just by adding Kovalchuk. You're like, when he's not the guy to focus on as like your goal scorer.
I can't remember.
Where is he? Like, who's gonna watch Kovalchuk on like the weak side when you have Ovechkin and Kuznetsov and Backstrom and just all these guys that are just so deep, just a good trade. And they got Brendan Dillon too, who like I've loved. Brendan.
Oh yeah. He's fucking. He got in a fight like with Malkin like right away.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm all about this shit. Like, fuck you.
He comes out of it with like the biggest smile on his face, and somebody like took a screenshot and it was like the moment that Washington Capitals fans fell in love with Dillon.
Yeah. So those 2 teams, I think if that's like a Stanley Cup, I would like final. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Right now,
Vancouver.
What's it? Yeah, Vancouver
and Washington.
Yeah. Just because like Vancouver and Vegas are kind of fighting back and forth for that top spot in their in the Pacific Division. But like for a couple weeks, Vancouver was just sticking it to everybody. Like they show that they are deep. They can play. Washington obviously is deep and can play. You know, it's gonna be fun to watch the Vancouver against like St. Louis and Colorado. Like those are the three teams I think are really in Vegas. Like those are 4 teams that are like really actually the only contenders coming out of the West.
Yeah.
And then Washington's one of like the other 4 coming out of the East. So I think those 2 teams this is all in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My pick for like the big winner of the trade deadline would be Pittsburgh.
Getting Patty Marleau.
Patty Marleau, you know, they add depth with Marleau. They add depth bringing back Connor Sheary. Zucker, I think, was a fucking great.
Yeah, that was That
the original what they originally wanted for the Phil Kessel trade, they finally fucking pulled it off. But I mean, this team has been fucking on a tear that has been missing Crosby for a majority of the season, missing
Malkin for a majority of the beginning of the season.
Yeah. And they're still,
Ryan Rust has had a fucking unreal year as well.
They're still top 3 in the East.
Yeah. No, they're weren't they in? Are they still in first place in the?
I don't know. I think it was like flipping back and forth, but
actually, I have the stats right here.
Yeah.
It's back and forth right now. They're in second.
Yeah.
But they're top 4 right now because Boston's at 90, Tampa's at 85, Washington's at 84, and they're at 80.
Yeah, I think So I think Pittsburgh is going to quietly sneak their way into the conference finals, and then really fucking if they get there. They're going to have to go through Washington. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to go through – I mean, I don't even know who's sitting in the wild card. What's that?
You're talking about Pittsburgh. They're gonna, like Philadelphia is a good team. Like Washington, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, that metropolitan division is just going to be like just throwing fists every single game. Like everyone's going to be giving it like so much. Those are going to be way more entertaining than
it's going to be.
I would
be a hard fight.
Play Philly in that fucking this year. Dude, Konechny's had a fucking unreal year. I just wanted to point out, too, the funny thing when we were talking about, like, the Wayne Simmons to Buffalo thing. It's a conditional 5th-round pick that can turn into a 4th-rounder if the Sabres make the playoffs. The Sabres are 10 points out of the playoffs. What the fuck is this deal?
Ridiculous.
Ugh, that's so weird.
All right. Well, we've been running kind of long on this episode. I mean, there's so much to talk about with the trade deadline and all that. Do you have
special guest this year?
Yeah. So I guess before we wrap it up, do you guys any tidbit or anything you want to point out from the trade deadline or what's going on?
I think it's awesome to finally see some moves. Like every year we're like, is stuff gonna happen? Is stuff gonna happen? It's coming on the wire. And then this year it's just like boom, 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 boom. And it was like
people made moves.
Like this salary cap era is finally becoming something that
I think it was too that like they finally found value in the right sense where people aren't throwing 1st-rounders out for like any single person all the time.
Yeah.
So that a lot of people were more willing to like make these moves knowing that there's still value in like these later round picks.
They're starting to value the draft a little bit more than they have in years past.
Yeah. Like there was like fuck man, 10 years ago people were throwing around 1st-round picks for like 34-year-old players, and you're just like 34-year-old rentals at that like, and you're just like, so we missed out on getting like a nice 18-year-old like fucking superstar because we wanted to win the cup and we didn't end up winning it when we fucking tried to get somebody. And like now, if it's like a 34-year-old rental, you're like, all right, we'll give you like a 2nd, or we'll give you a conditional 3rd. Guess what? If we make it to the cup final, then it becomes a 2nd. Like,
and also like at that point, it used to be like, oh, we'll give you this guy we picked in the 1st round a couple of years ago for like some rental player. You didn't see a lot of prospects because, like you said,
highly touted prospects.
Everyone's now going like the draft is where you can develop. Like a prospect is a prospect. Like he got picked at a 1, but it's been 2 years. In the 1st round, like it's been 2 years. He's been all right in junior or whatever you put him, but like I want a 2. Like I can find a real good gem in a 2, and in 3 years when this 1st-round draft pick may not work out, I'd rather pick a guy that I want, like really want, So I think that's really cool that like picks are actually valued now.
Also, fuck Nick Ritchie, and fuck Boston. I still fucking hate Nick Ritchie for fucking hurting Roosevelt, and then fuck Boston for picking him up because I already fucking hate Boston. So fuck you both.
And also, why didn't anyone go for Jumbo?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna say,
that's
was
right.
he
Hockey championship.
was he the biggest loser of the trade deadline?
Biggest loser of the trade? And he said it. He's like, I've been after this shit for 22 years. Like, I don't know why they didn't trade me. No one even asked me if I wanted to lift my no trade. Like, nothing happened. He's just. I feel bad. Well, we're gonna see him for another year. You know he's going for it.
Oh,
so.
he's coming back next year. But no, maybe next year he'll come back for, and sign on like a cheaper ticket, because I think that had something to do with it. I think a lot of these teams that could have given him a cup run, they couldn't fit. He's making $5 million this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
he goes to
San Jose
Dallas
can retain fucking half
But
of that salary.
But I'm just saying though, like if still, so you're retaining 2.5. A lot of these teams were still 2.5 is a fucking is pushing it for a lot of the contenders.
Well,
So
so you understand how that works, though. It's like it's 2.5, but it's prorated for the rest of the year. So that's the only thing that counts against your cap is the last quarter of that 2.5. So it would only be like 700 and something thousand. That's the whole reason why Lehners is like so fucking low towards them. It's 1.4 in real like actual annual value, but what they actually have against their cap is what's left over of that 1.4.
gotcha. Okay.
So that's why it's like 7% of like whatever he was actually owed.
Yeah.
All right, well then fuck, I don't know why they didn't trade him.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, they just didn't fucking ask anybody apparently.
And you can get something for it for a team that has absolutely nothing going for him right now. Like you can get something for Joe, and it's like now you're just gonna let him sit and. He's gonna go to free agency this year.
If they're anything like Blackhawks fans, they might have just been like, "Well, we better get a first rounder for him, otherwise we're fucking losing."
Yeah, like Jesus Christ, like look at anybody for Joe. I just want to see the guy win a goddamn. It's like when Ray Bork won a Stanley Cup. Who cares what team he's on? Everyone in the NHL was like, "Yeah, buddy, like good for you." Like Joe.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping that he would get traded to like Vegas or something. So that would be Vegas versus Pittsburgh, and then Marlowe versus Thornton.
Number 1 and
That
number
would've been
2
good.
from the
Yeah.
ninth or from the
Who gets it? Who gets it?
It's also Vegas has been picking up everybody on San Jose anyway.
Yeah.
Or no, I mean they just got their coach, and then
They
What
picked up
was it?
LA. They picked up
Yeah.
Alex Martinez and
it was LA. I was thinking
Yeah.
about Dallas with Pavelski. Like there was talks about him maybe going to Dallas.
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to go somewhere with like he might go to Pittsburgh, he might go to Dallas, he might go somewhere where he's comfortable with a couple of the guys, and everyone knows who Jumbo is, and they're like,
Yeah.
fucking, of course we want.
Dude,
him.
watch he goes back
We're
to
gonna send
fucking
Joe Pavelski
Boston.
out, and we're just gonna he's
thought
gonna
he
get
was.
talked every single day. Like, hey, Dallas is pretty sweet, right? Like you could put a Radulov and Jamie Benn,
And there's no tax. There's no tax.
There's no tax, yeah, no state tax. The Dallas chicks, I mean, come on, like
Yeah.
everything about it. Like, they should have sent
Joe
him out.
Thornton's got a family. Whatever.
You don't know if his wife shares or not. You don't know.
Fucking Uber for wife share
Oh
app.
my god. All right. So on that note, boys, we are officially in probably the best time of the year for hockey. Running down that playoff stretch into the playoffs, leading into playoff hockey. It's gonna be fucking fun, and I just cannot goddamn wait. It just fucking sucks that the Hawks aren't a fucking part of it.
I mean, I hope you fucking choke on those words. And
I do
hope they
too.
are part of it.
I will be the first one to say that I hope they do, but realistically. So, all right, that was episode 91. Thank you so much for Meegan for hopping on and joining me and Tanner since, Poetzy and Nolly don't know we do this anymore. So,
It's also hey Meegan, so Meegan,
Yeah.
so we either what do you think? We call it the Kajula or we call it the Richards?
Oh, me?
Yeah, for the episode. It's episode 91. Is it the Kajula or is it the Richards?
Oh man, I think Richards has to take it because he's gotten a cup.
He's got a
now.
cup,
That's
right?
exactly what he
Yeah,
said.
that's what I said.
Well, two great guys. Like I don't care.
He's also got an assist on that fucking Game 6 goal.
Yeah. Well, didn't what's his name? Oh my God, he's on Ottawa now. I forgot who we had him. He's like a rental player.
Duclair.
Oh my God, he was on Arizona.
Duclair.
Duclair?
He was 91 last season.
Duclair.
Oh, it's Duclair.
Duclair, yeah. Don't do it.
Let's just say it 17 times. You won't fucking hear us.
No, yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
It's the Richards, all right?
The Richards, all right.
Is don't fucking scream score or shoot the puck at a live hockey game. Even after I oh my God, told this girl this is like 4 weeks ago. Told her like, I'm at a Hawks game. Don't scream in my ear, shoot the puck or score. Like this is our first game together, and she's sitting there going, shoot it, score, shoot it. I'm like, all right, stop talking to her.
Jesus Christ. We're trying to say bye, and he's going into Meegan's corner now.
Meegan's corner.
He asked me to do it earlier. I'm doing it. The whole podcast.
All right. So for
That's
Meegan,
fantastic.
Tanner, and Jarom, this was episode 91. The Richards. Don't scream, shoot, and score. We will see you on the next one.
All right. Love you, boys.